to the outlet.
What up? Oh,
What up?
What up?
Another episode.
We are live on Nyce Kicks. Shout out to Dapper in the building, in the studio.
Dapper in the building.
What's
What's
good?
good?
You know what I'm saying?
We get ready for Outlet LA. We posted on the last video in the description box, so hopefully you guys
Yes.
If not, go get them right now.
First of all, I am so upset I can't be there with y'all.
I know. Well, you'll make it to not June because you'll come later in June, but you'll get to one month. It's usually
I'm gonna get
month.
there. I have to get there when it's one at a time. Yeah, because I am like, why am I not there today? Because I know you might turning up for your early birthday, extra early birthday Gemini status tonight.
Yes. What's up? We got someone in the house watching, so welcome to everybody.
Welcome whoever's on here.
Our Nyce Kicks. We do this every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Sizzo, it's Lisa Marie. I don't know what side she's on your TV.
Right. I might be on the left. I might be on the right, but I'm still here.
You know it's bad when I don't even have a drink this episode. So
it's yeah.
Here we are.
I have wine this evening. I am bougie this evening. B for bougie.
B for bougie. Love it. Well, I guess we might as well kick it off.
Let's start it up.
So if you're doing Nyce Kicks, we always start with current events. I didn't really have many current events this week. I don't feel like not a lot was happening. Or at least not a lot that I could catch up with and be aware of. In terms of what's going on, we usually do music, culture, things that are relevant. But you did see a post about Portia dating her ex-friend's ex-husband.
Yes, I saw. I've been seeing so much stuff with that come up with on like Baller Alert, Revolt TV, like all TMZ, like all the shit. So I've been seeing a lot of that come up too. And it's funny because I saw one picture where they posted her with the friend. The friend had the engagement ring on, and she had her hand on her knee, on Portia's knee. And it was like, nope, don't let your friend touch you. Something crazy, because apparently they're saying that the ring is the same fucking ring.
Oh gosh.
That he gave to his ex. So I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know enough about that. Like, I know who Portia is. I remember like vaguely seeing the girl because I stopped watching those shows, but I remember like the picture they posted, seeing the girl, hey, sis, so I remember seeing the post, but I don't like know much about like the friendship or their relationship or whatever. But I don't know if it's like to get more people to watch the show, because you know how they do shit like that so people will tune in, but I don't know.
I don't know if that's really it, because I feel like they're on they just finished their 13th season. They have a major following. I watch them faithfully. I only watch 2 Real Housewives series, and one is the Atlanta and one is Housewives of Potomac, and that's only because they both have Black women on there for majority of the cast. Those are the only 2 I watch, just because of it being Black women on there. And they've been on for 13 seasons. I don't think they need any ratings at that point for that. So I don't necessarily think it's for that. I think she just is out here doing her thing. I don't know.
Whatever. And she's the one who had a baby with the guy, and they were going to like counseling or something, right? And then they didn't end up working out. I mean, that could be any of them, because that sounds like the story for any of them. But I have in my mind who she is. She's a little bit younger. Like her mom was like really involved with her and like the kid or something.
Yeah, so she's our age, and she is like her grandfather was an activist. He marched with Martin Luther King back in the day. So she's born and raised in Atlanta. Well, not Atlanta per se, but in Georgia. So yeah, she's that one where her baby's father and her had issues through the show. She's the one I actually really like Portia on this. She's one of my favorite characters because she be giving the shade, the tea, the everything. And I feel like she puts off a very authentic, fun character, and I say character because it's reality TV. I know certain things are scripted, it's still your life, but
Yeah.
I feel like I can relate to her kind of the most out of majority of them. But I know she was the last episode that I watched was the reunion for this past season. And none of this had come up. So this is all new. So it's like the reunion ended, the season ended, and now boom, this is coming up.
I don't know. We'll see what Nene Leakes has to say about it.
Because Nene. Oh, actually, I do have a post from Nene.
Stepping your game up on Nyce Cakes. I see you with the most information. Go ahead.
Okay. So Nene Leakes had said, because she was a former cast member on the show, and she is no longer a cast member on the show. They have brought her in and out, but she hasn't been like an official peach holder for the show. And she initially shared her congratulations, but she tweeted on Tuesday that I didn't watch the show. So this is the man that was on the show with your girl. Oh shit. Now I see why y'all are saying ouch. Because she was on the show with this girl.
Yeah.
So it's the older man.
Yeah. He looks older.
He's older. And the girl, she went to her house a couple of times on the show, and they hung out or whatever. And the husband was only shown once on the show. The girl was showed a couple of times. And I think I do think it is a little messy and a little crazy.
Right. Yeah. It's a little too cold. I mean, there's so many people in the world. It's kind of like, I don't know, husband situation, man.
And that was her husband for a while, the chick. I don't know. A little crazy. Another thing though that I had on current events was shit is like really opening up because the CDC,
like outside.
Yes.
Outside.
The CDC today announced that anyone that's vaccinated can be outside or indoors without a mask.
And that's for like any state?
Anywhere.
So the thing that I don't understand, right, is just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean that you can't expose someone else to it.
No. So with the vaccination, it's not like this is what I learned because I just had a doctor's appointment yesterday. So it's not that with the flu, they give you a strain of the flu type of thing. So you can still get the flu. But with this in particular, with the COVID, it's almost like with measles and mumps, rubella, I think the word is, or the disease, you know what I'm talking about, how they give you chicken pox, all of that. So it's literally a vaccine for it where it gives you the antibodies that fight off it. It's not giving you the actual a strain of it. So it's a legit antibody.
But don't antibodies only last for a certain period of time? Like when they said when we got COVID, right? We had the antibodies for 3 months or whatever the hell time frame the doctors say it will last. Wouldn't it be the same with the vaccination? I get why they say do a couple of rounds. Whatever,
yes, they say do 2. Yep.
To make sure, or maybe that's to spread it out so you have the antibodies longer. I don't know because I haven't researched anything. So don't take my advice or my opinion for a doctor's excellence because I'm nowhere near that. But I'm just trying to understand, like, how do we go from 0 to 100 with vaccinations, meaning having a vaccine that can be tested and like this is what works. Was it even tested for long enough? Like it seems like a lot of fucking bullshit to me. And now
I agree.
Like, we're open and ready by June, July, and August to like.
I agree, and I'm the same way as you. And for us, we need like a lot of the details and the breakdown. So I consistently have done a lot of research on it because I am still considering it, even though I think that you're going to turn into a zombie 10 years from now. But I am still considering it because I've been continuously doing research on it. Um, and the amount of money that has been funded and fueled to the scientists and the people in this field to create the vaccine, it's like it's crazy. Like Bill
Yeah.
Gates alone gave like some crazy shit like $1 billion for them to kind of figure it out. You know what I
1
mean?
billion?
Billion.
Oh, so I was like, 1 billion ain't shit for Bill
No, no,
Gates,
no, no,
but
no. And he's getting a divorce right now, so he might want to watch his coins. But yeah, no, like $1 billion towards the research and everything for the COVID vaccine. So I feel like they definitely were in a state of this is an epidemic that we have not seen in many, 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 many years since like the 1920s, since the Spanish flu.
right.
And we have to really figure this out because the whole country was shut down. And there's other
Yeah.
countries that are has been shut down. And it was like a this COVID has been a worldwide disaster.
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like when it's at that emergency level, that they're gonna work faster and harder with it. Now, the only one that I trust is the Pfizer one because they have been FDA approved finally. And I've seen some like marketing promotions and all that, and they kind of got me with that. So I'm like, okay, Pfizer, I think I'm okay with, but when you go for your COVID vaccination, they give you what they give you. So if I go in there and they're like, yo, I got Moderna or Johnson and Johnson because Johnson and Johnson's back on the market, I'm gonna be like, nah, I'm out. I need to go somewhere where they got the Pfizer.
Like ovarian cancer, Johnson and Johnson.
Johnson and Johnson, like baby powder.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because they recalled them.
I'm just gonna wear my mask until like everything is all set. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I saw a girl literally in Office Depot yesterday laminating her
Card.
car. Yeah. And I'm like, this is out of hand. I don't know. I'm not the
It is it's definitely a whole new world. It's crazy. And then I told like people I know, because I would say probably 95% of people that we know and I know over this side have gotten vaccinated. And I'm like, well, then y'all are fine. I don't need to, because then y'all are fine. Like,
right.
Y'all good.
Don't be around y'all.
Yeah, like y'all good. Like, but I get they're trying to ease the fact of you can wear no mask now and you can be out there because there's so many vaccinations that are just sitting right now because a lot of people are not getting it. I think their hopes was that every American was going to get it,
right,
and it's not and that's not happening. So there, you could get it at CVS, Walgreens, you can get it wherever.
And to that point, I feel like that's a reason for them to say anyone who's vaccinated can go out without the mask and be out without the mask because they know people are itching to take the mask off. So if they say that, it's going to cause more people to flood and go get the vaccination.
Right.
It's a catch-22. So it's like, we can't get them organically to go get it. Let's just tell them they don't need to wear the mask because that's what they're dying to not do, to go get the shit.
Yes. And they have to do a whole marketing thing behind it. Get celebrities, all these people behind it to say like, we are one vaccine, blah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. So
that is current events. And if you're just
goal 2021.
That's been the current event for the past year and a half. But outside is definitely open. Things are happening on this side of the world. Not the world, the country.
I'm like, girl.
Small country. But things are starting to open up. They're saying like June 15th or whatever. But we still don't have like bowling alleys open, those kind of touch points. Restaurants in a larger capacity. You can eat indoors and outdoors.
Right.
The lounges are open. I think bars are open if they serve food. I don't know if they're open if they serve food. But there's some hookah lounges open. Like, stuff is definitely picking up. For sure.
It's crazy.
So we'll
It's
see.
crazy. It's crazy to me just to be in
It's
the
like
whole
it's
world
weird to
right
be
now.
out. It's weird to have a normal life again.
It is. It is. That's what it is. It's weird to have a normal life again. Like, it's very weird for me.
Mm-hmm.
Traffic, everything. I'm like, what is this? Like, I don't understand. I don't know how to adapt to this right now.
Right. Well,
But
we always end up with like a perfect segue into the actual
I know.
because as I'm
Yes.
thinking about COVID and being locked in the house, now things are starting to open. I think that all the people who have been in the house for all these months, like taking time to themselves, figuring out what they want to do with their lives, just like reflecting, whether it's relationship or personal, kids, like there's so many different things. Like there's people who left their jobs, there are people who were forced out of their jobs, there are people who figured out other jobs and opportunities. And that leads right into tonight's topic on finding your purpose. And it's kind of like a spark because it's finding your purpose and it's about just living a life of abundance and just being, grateful for what you have because, far too often I know sometimes I have to bring myself back together and say, you know what? I don't have everything that I aspire to right now, but the things that I do have, as small as they are, like something as small as running water, which when you don't have water, you realize how important it is to have water. You just
Absolutely
have to be grateful for everything. So
yes.
that was a perfect segue. So if you just tuning in, we are Nyce Kicks. We do this every week Thursday. Thank you for watching us. We're going to get ready to get right into the topic about finding your purpose and living an abundant life. Boom.
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 Oh shit. So what is purpose? I guess we can start with like what is purpose in someone's life? And purpose is where we find meaning in what we want to do and what we want to contribute to our lives and to the world. Purpose can be linked to your job or career. A lot of times people do not find their purpose in work. They find their purpose in, for me, I think people find their purpose within passion.
Yeah.
And passion is a whole nother thing, but passion usually comes from your purpose. And they're kind of intertwined, kind of in, they go hand in hand in a sense. And what's like what really keeps you going, what keeps you thriving, and all of that aspects of your life.
And when I think about, so I always go back to starting with your why, and that
You always say that.
it transfers over into my like work life too. And when I'm coaching anyone in terms of like whether they're trying to be a leader or a better manager or just personally in their life, I always think back to what is your why? Like what gets you up in the morning? What gets you excited? What keeps you motivated? And it's a big question. It's a loaded question. But if you can identify why you do what you do versus how or what you do, like you're on a better trajectory to have people, especially if you're in business and you are an entrepreneur or whatever, you have people that will buy into you because they understand your purpose. And I think that is directly tied to purpose. But I also agree, like sometimes we get in positions where we may not know our true purpose or what path is. And we talked about this, which is like kind of what sparked this topic to begin with, and thinking about like we've had people around us or within our circle, within our reach, who have figured out their purpose, and it gets to the point where sometimes you feel like, well, shit, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't feel complete. I don't feel whole.
Exactly.
What is my purpose? Like why am I doing this? What am I here for? Like, what should I be doing in life? And it's
exactly
weighs really heavy on people when they don't identify what their purpose is at a certain point in life. But as we know, there's people like Oprah who figured this out late in the game.
My girl.
And I know you love Oprah. So, anybody who's watching, I think the first point, well, the second point really, because the first point is really identifying your why. The second point is if you're in a position where you don't know your purpose, I mean, hopefully by the end of this episode, we give you some pointers to figure out some things to think about to get to that place. but you
Mm-hmm.
still like close out the fight and you're like, you know what, I really don't know my purpose yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Like it's not a
Yes.
bad thing, and it shouldn't be looked at from a negative lens, because it's hard to really navigate what it is exactly we want to do without having the right resources. So hopefully, as we go through some information that we dug up, we'll be able to give those resources. And I always repeat myself, so I'm gonna stop there.
That's fine. Repeating is affirming what you're saying, so that's totally
I do
fine.
that all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. We got it. We get the point, Sizzo. Keep it moving.
They might need to hear it 2 or 3 times. Like that's totally fine. But no, yes, definitely. I agree with you on the you don't know when that happens for you, because there's people that have found their purpose in life and they're like 60, 70. Like you just don't know when it's gonna come for you. You know what I mean? Um and for me, like me specifically, I just feel what like I feel like I know my purpose in life, but I'm not 100% sure still.
Right.
Like I know purposes I have, right? But I don't know 100% still. Like I know what I'm passionate about in terms of my day to day, where I see my future, things like that. But I still don't know what it is that God 100% put me here for, if that makes sense. And I believe in the spiritual being.
Right.
Has a big connection when it comes to your purpose in life, because I'm like, the sperm, there's one sperm and there's one egg, and that one sperm got to that one egg for a reason, right? Because there's multiple eggs that you have. The sperm could have went to any egg, right? But he chose this egg that created us. So it's like there has to be a purpose for everybody.
Right.
Whether that is taking care of your family, whether it is being a great mom, a foster mom, whatever it is, there's even if you feel like it's small and it's not on a larger scale, where it's like I gotta cure fucking cancer. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be that. There's always a purpose within your life.
And something that helped me try to figure out or navigate the waters of like, what is a purpose? Like, what do you really want to do? Because I think for me, it wasn't really a matter of what's my purpose necessarily, but it's what did I really want to do? Like, what am I really passionate about? What really motivates me? And I just had to draw back to like, I'm really passionate about helping others be their best selves, finding and identifying strengths that they don't even know that they have. Finding them and identifying them so that they can push forward, working on opportunities to become better. Like it's really, for me, it's all the service. And even this past week, like being out different restaurants, I had so many different experiences where I'm like touch point with the manager, touch point with this person, this on service level. Like I really just love that whole aspect of making people better overall. And that's definitely on the path of the leadership development coaching. But outside of that, because I kind of knew, right? I kind of knew, okay, we talked about this business consulting, like that's kind of my lane, my avenue. But it really made a difference being around the right people and having someone give me feedback and listening to that feedback in order to understand, or not even understand, but to draw out of me what it is that I'm interested in. And it wasn't challenging in terms of the questions. There were very simple questions that just made me sit and think, oh shit, like what do you really like to talk about? And that's like something that simple. What do you like to talk about? Led me to, okay, here's the relationship piece, here's the makeup piece, here's the business leadership piece. And then it like came together from there. So anyone who's like trying to figure out what it is that you're passionate about, what it is that you really want to do, like have that conversation with yourself. Just think, make it simple. What do you like to talk about? What can you talk about for 5 minutes straight if you had no coaching, no flashcards, and literally just had to go for it? And so there's like kind of a puzzle that I think about when it comes to the purpose, and like, well, there's circles that align. And I drew this from something I found online, which made a lot of sense. One part of it was what you love is like
Mm-hmm.
one circle. What
Mm-hmm.
you're good at is another circle. And then what the world needs, your mission, your profession, and your vocation. And in the center of all that is your purpose. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you think about what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, what you're good at, if you can answer those questions and you have passion, you have a mission, you have a profession, and then you have vocation, you're going to come to your purpose point naturally
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to cover all those elements. And not everyone is strong on, okay, what does the world need? What can I contribute to the world? Versus like, what do I need? What do I want to do? Not everyone is
Yeah.
in the pie, but if you can answer those questions, you'll be closer to like what the purpose is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, a high percentage of people feel like, okay, how am I contributing to the world in a sense? And what is my contribution? You know, what is that equal to in the world?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily have to be that big.
Right.
And I think we oftentimes look at people who are doing those type of things and they're on a higher status, celebrity status, wealth status, and yes, they're
Mm-hmm.
contributing to the world, they're contributing to so many different things, where it's like, okay, wow, they really have a purpose in life, where it's like you don't have to look at it in that sense. It can be just in your life, what
Mm-hmm.
is that purpose, you know what I mean,
Right.
instead of looking at it as a bigger, ginormous picture.
Mm-hmm. Like on a smaller
For
scale.
me, I feel like Kanye. Like, I feel like I'm about to touch the world down the line, and in a whole way. And I feel like it in fashion,
Right.
in that aspect. You know what I mean? I feel like for me, my purpose really is to stand out and be someone that people talk about. And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, Lisa Montgomery, Lisa Marie, you know what I mean? Yo, she was that shit. Like, I honestly, really, really deep down feel like that's something that is my calling and it's pulling me and pulling me, where it's
Yes.
something on a larger scale. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think motivates me a lot of the times. Whatever I do, with whether it's in styling, my lash business, whatever I'm doing, I just feel like that's what really drives me, because I feel like I have the purpose and I know
Right.
what my purpose is. And I'm like, yo, I know I could touch so many people
Mm-hmm.
out here. It's crazy. Like, I'm
Right.
feeling it right now. I'm getting like teary eyed just thinking about it right now. Cause I'm like, yo, I'm about to touch everybody. And I see myself as someone who's, you know, I don't want to necessarily say Oprah, because I don't know if you can top Oprah, but like, I see myself at that stature in life. Like, it's crazy. And people may look at me crazy, like, nah, B, like, you ain't going nowhere. Where you
Mm-hmm.
going? You going right here. No, I really, really, I felt that since I was a kid.
Right. Right. What's up, Mark?
Hey, Mark, glad to
Here I'm
see
like playing
you.
tag team with the comments. So he said passion versus impact. So I feel like you're talking about that, which I can see that side of it because the passion and what you're doing can create the impact on other people. So what you're passionate
Hmm.
about and what you love
Yes.
innately tied to being a highly influential person could create
Yes.
impact, right? So, like for me, I'm high influence, like in terms of my personality traits and my style, like my highest category is influence and then dominance. So for me, I could be very influential no matter what it is that I do, as long as it's within something that I'm passionate about. And
Exactly.
it feels like that purpose bucket in terms of knowing that I'm influencing others to be greater or to be better in
Right.
their own lives. So like that all hand in hand. Not everyone's purpose impacts the world, but it's dope when it can, for sure. So yeah, that's where I see where you're aligning the two different things of
Yes.
the purpose versus the impact. Because people can have a purpose in life and not be influential or not create an impact on others. But if you tie those together, then you are looking at a Kanye status or a
Hmm.
Beyonce status, for example, because Beyonce, like, her purpose in terms
She
of
never thought.
life, huh?
I said she never thought. She
Right.
probably
It's
never thought that she would be at that level where she affected so many people.
And see, I think the opposite. I feel like from a child, just watching her videos and stuff and how she interacted with the group, I feel like she always knew she had this talent that was raw and that would go places. And as she built her path and her business, she built it from a place of knowing what was going to be the next best thing. And she's a Virgo, so you already know. Like I think of Brendan, like Virgos think very strategically. They
right.
A through Z and everything in between, and like it's always like the next best thing for them. So I feel like she honestly thought through what was going to be the most impactful moving forward. But that's where she has her purpose and influence in people like.
But I don't think she had that like thought process of like I'm impacting the culture and people that way. I felt like she. I mean, I don't know. Again, we can't speak for her, but we all talk about her like, yes, she did this, she did that. I don't know.
Like, let's figure out what B feels right now.
But no, I feel like she went into it like I'm passionate about singing and entertaining. This is what I'm doing. And then once she started growing into that level, it's like, okay, I'm seeing how this is affecting the culture and affecting people of my culture, basically. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if she went into it knowing that. I think now obviously she understands exactly where she is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
which probably could have changed with her circle, like having Jay-Z as part of the circle. Because that was another thing in looking at finding your purpose that I was like tying, again, like I said earlier, the people who are around you can help you identify what your purpose is based on what you love to do. And they can change that for you too. Like you may feel like, okay, my purpose is to be in a place where I'm a performer, I'm an entertainer, I'm in Broadway shows, impacting people's lives every day by performance, whatever it may be. And then you may figure out something completely different around in your circle, or you could never find your purpose if you're around the right people. Like that could be a thing too, because you don't put yourself in a position to learn more, grow more, or see different, to even identify with what you like to do. And I remember Jay Shetty when I was listening to one of his podcasts and like trying to figure out what I'm going to do for work next, what avenue do I want to go in, because I know I don't want to be in the store again. And he said, take 8 different weekends, and 8 weekends.
Okay, 8. Yep.
Yep. So 8 different weekends, and shadow people that work in a field that you feel like you might be interested in, and to really dive in and figure out maybe this is interesting or maybe it's not. And I feel like I'm kind of going through that moment with the real estate where I was like, you know what, I think I really would be interested in real estate, knowing that more so I was interested in owning a property management company, because that's still in my, under my umbrella.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely.
Now that I'm in the thick of it with the real estate, I'm like, I don't really know if I want to find someone's home. Like, I'm okay being in the background. I don't want to go out and do this, and then there's certain points that I like, certain points that I don't like. So I think that was really helpful to hear. You have to get into places and do things that are tied to what you might be interested in to figure it out.
And that's okay, because even growing up, like I had multiple jobs, and it was like, I'm not really feeling that. Let me try this. Let me try that. And then realizing, okay, I'm really good at management and business structure and those type of things, leadership development, trainings. So realizing that, so you figure out as you go along. And I think as an adult, we get scared of that because we're more afraid to take the risk of trying new things, because maybe you have stuck with something and you're like, yo, I've been in this job, in this position for so long. I don't know what else I can do, but I know this isn't for me. It's not fueling my soul. It's not like what I need to be doing, is not what I should be doing.
Right.
Excuse me. So it's one of those things where as an adult, you're like, I don't want to take the risk. And you have more risk factors where you have a family, you may have you have children, you have all these things, and you don't want to try new things as you did when you were in your teens or your 20s, And that's the hard part. I remember taking that big risk when I worked for BB for 10 years and, grew up in the, I don't even want to say necessarily corporate ladder because it wasn't a corporate environment, but it's more retail setting. But, growing within that industry. And I was like, I just cannot do this no more. Like, there's so much more out there for me. And I know I'm supposed to be doing things for myself. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, let me do something right now that I know that I'm really good about talking about and doing, which was sex toys, sex. So let me do sex toys. And I went into and I went in, bought into Ben Drew Candy. Shout out to Candy Burris. We talked about Real Housewives earlier, but shout out to Candy Burris, and invested in that and was like, okay, let me do this for a little bit to see. And I'm going to fall back on this job. And I left the job making very, very good money and decided to go into that. And I'm like, wow. Okay, I don't really want to talk about, I mean, I want to talk about sex all the time, but I just
yes, you do.
But there was only so much I could do. Like, I'm passionate about sex, but there was only so much I could do within that realm of the selling sex toys and all that stuff. And I went to a job where I was just working the phones and the appointment book, and I went to work for $12.50. And I'm coming off of a $95,000 salary. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. I took literally like a 65% pay cut to do that. And it was hard. I cried all the time. And I look at it and I'm like, damn, look where I'm at now. Like, I'm doing things. I had started my lash business, my styling business. I'm like, I'm doing things that fuel me and that I feel like I am leading towards that purpose in life. Like I said, like I feel like I'm Kanye and I'm gonna fucking take over the world.
Right. You definitely, I'm glad we're opening that up because the styling thing, fashion is so your lane, and I can't wait for like that shit to really take off for sure. Mark, thanks Mark for being on and commenting with us live. We appreciate it. If you're just tuning in, we are Nyce Kids to do this every Thursday. We're talking about finding your purpose on this evening's episode. So feel free to leave a comment if you're watching us live below. Talk to us about you finding your purpose. Any comments you want to leave. This is how we engage. This is how we've always run the space. We appreciate our kickers. So the comments definitely help us. So that's why comparing yourself to someone else can be toxic. That person can be living their purpose and you're comparing yourself to them. 100%. And I think now even more so with social media.
Oh my God.
So much harder for people who have not developed into themselves to be anchored enough to not feel the need to really run their lives based off of what's in front of them on their phones, their laptops, or their iPads. It's so challenging. Like down to things that are as simple as content. There's so much content that is like basically the same over and over because we're like, oh, well, this person's doing it this way, it's working for them, so maybe I need to create this content and do it that way. And I just had this conversation with two people who are in my box and who helped me with the shit that I got going on. And I'm like, you know what? Honestly, I thought I was gonna drop an ebook. I'm not passionate about dropping an ebook, but I am passionate about dropping a planner. Like we love our planners, me. So I'm like, I'm doing a planner first. I'm not doing an ebook. I'm going this is what I'm passionate about. You know what? I have to do what works for me. And that is such a good point, Mark. Like people really have a hard time being authentic themselves because of what they're seeing online. Seeing it with their friends. I've told Brendan 5 different times I quit real estate. Yes, I am. I quit today. You have to take those moments to write down your list of what are you interested in? Like, what can you talk about? And what are your skill sets? What are some problems that you see out there? Because when it's about entrepreneurship and business, and this is kind of separate from finding your purpose, but like along the lines of people who want to be business owners, entrepreneurs, or figure out what they want to do for work, figure out like what are some problems, and tie your
Yes.
skills to problems so you can create solutions, and that's where the money comes from. You're not going to really get it scrolling through so-and-so's page looking at, this TikTok video that they posted and reposting on your page, and you're going to get the same viewers, the same followers. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
And I think it happens a lot with the cryptocurrency people or the credit repair. Like, there's so much shit that's just cookie cutter.
Yes.
You have to figure out what it is that you want to do, truly and
Absolutely.
wholly. So thank you for that comment, Mark. That was dope.
Yes, that was like legit spot on.
What's up, favorite bus driver? So that must be our friend. I'm gonna say, hopefully. That's the only bus driver I know.
I don't know any bus drivers, but hey, bus driver. What's up? Yes, me. Everything Mark said, like 100%. That was legit spot on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wholly spot on.
Holy spot on, Mark. Holy spot on.
Holy.
I'm like, are you going through your notes?
Am I what?
Going through your notes.
No, I was actually sending out a poll right now. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you. I just sent it to you right now. Oh no, the face, bus driver.
Thanks for getting on, Dave. Appreciate it. Before you get to that point, because I'm gonna throw the mic to you, I'll be over talking and shit. But the other thing I wanted to encourage people to do when it comes to like finding your purpose, living abundantly, is like have conversations and speak to people that you don't know. Like speak to new people. Like start conversations with strangers. And if you're not someone who's like outgoing and feel comfortable just talking to someone, get yourself, like we're saying on the shoe line, a nice pair of shoes that's a conversation starter, a jacket or something. Because you never know who you run into.
Get you an attraction piece.
Huh?
Yep. I said get you an attraction piece, an accessory,
right.
Attraction piece.
And like talk to people that are not already in your bubble, like not already in your circle, so that you can start thinking and seeing things different. Like the world has so many people, especially older people. Like older people are so smart, like gems for days. And like the more you talk to new people, you can start to identify like, okay, maybe this is the avenue that I'm supposed to be going down. Like maybe this is my path, and like this is a good connection, and let me work this connection. Not only is it good for relationship building, it's good for potentially figuring out what you want to do and what your true meaning is. Because sometimes you end up being a vessel for other people too. Like, and that could be your purpose. Like you are just meant to be that person that serves other people in some kind of way.
Exactly.
Well, it's always this to me. It's so awkward because then I feel like I have to keep talking, and I'm like, stop this.
You always talk, and I go off of you.
Don't do this today.
Don't do this to me. Listen, I told you what my purpose was. Actually, I definitely feel like for me, my purpose is in the fashion world, but also I would love to help the homeless. And Mark, I cannot with Mark right
now. I appreciate him so much.
So yes, I feel like I'm meant to help the homeless, and I also feel like I am meant to start like some type of charity or something down the line for mental illness. Like those are my passions. You know what I mean? I'm very passionate about those things, and that's what I feel like I need to do. And whatever, you know how certain things you do in life are roadmaps and gateways to other things. So I feel like the fashion piece for me, in order for me to get out there, put my name out there, and then be able to transition into the charity work and all of that stuff, is where I see myself.
Right. And it's like you don't have to wait. Do that. Start small pieces now. And sometimes like it's interesting to see when people work so hard. And I've been in this place. I know you've been in this place. It happens, but people work so hard for businesses and companies
Mm-hmm.
Like more than they work for themselves, when they know they have something deep down, a burning
It's
desire
crazy.
to do
We've been
something
there.
different.
We've
Yeah,
been there
that
so many
fear,
times.
that fear is the number one thing that we have to fight every single day and all the time. Because the fear is literally what stops us from getting to a point of understanding that we're
Yes.
worth more. We're like we were put here, like you said, the egg and the sperm, they found each other for a reason. We all have a purpose. I truly believe
Everyone.
that. But it's really about letting go of the fear of failing or letting
Mm-hmm.
go of the fear of not knowing what the next step looks like or not
Right.
knowing how to get to the next step, but just like
Right.
taking a moment to really pin down what it is that you want to do, what are you interested in, and start seeking those people who are experts in those fields so that
Yep.
you can find information. There's so much online, there's so much on YouTube, and I'm literally like talking to a mirror right now. So I'm talking to myself through this because I get those places where I'm going hard for so many other people, things, places than myself, but that for me, that drives me. That's what I'm passionate about. It's like I always want to
Yes.
make sure someone else is their next best self, and it's like, well, what about you? You know? So
Yes.
I think for me, I have a fear of success. Like I honestly
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's
Facts.
a
Same.
fear of success and a fear of getting to a place where it's overwhelming. And I don't know why I feel like I don't, it's not about being humble, right? Because, I had this moment on the Clubhouse and we were talking about how in LA, and I'm kind of on a tangent, but the first thing everyone asks you here is like, what do you do for work? And I hate that question. Like people don't even say, where are you from? But it's always, what do you do for work? And Brendan's like, I'm first to say, yep, I'm a company coach. This is what I do. And I started thinking differently. And I'm like, damn, why am I so reserved saying I'm a leadership development coach? I do business consulting, blah, blah, blah. Like I should be throwing that shit out there. But for me, I'm like, no, it's not about me. It's always about everybody else. And I think that's kind of that fear of becoming successful or the fear of it's about me. Because as much as for some people, they may think that I think everything should be about me or I'm bougie or I'm stuck up. Like, it's not.
Same.
It's the opposite.
Same. Yeah. I agree with you because I feel like I've been there this same way. Like I don't think I've said to somebody in a long time where I'm like, yeah, I'm a stylist. Yeah, I have a lash business. I mean, I've said I've had a lash business more recently, but I don't put that out there to people because I also feel where you're at. I feel the same exact way. And it's like I always go back to the corporate answer, like, oh, I'm a manager. I manage this business. Oh, where do you work? I work here, versus saying like, no, this is my skill, this is my talent, this is my business, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. So to bring my point back, because I was like, did I even make a point? I don't even think I did.
No, you made a great point.
But,
absolutely.
It was more so if you're watching and you're in a position where, say, you're working a 9 to 5 or you're working for someone else, but you have a burning desire to do something for yourself, is to knock down the fears, whatever they may be, whether it's fear of success, fear of not knowing, fear of failing, fear of someone's letting you're copying them, whatever it is, like let go of that and really take those moments to focus on you and answer the questions that we talked about earlier, which I just wanted to bring back up. It's a picture on my phone, but answer the questions of what do you love? What are you good at?
Yep.
What can you be paid for? And what does the world need? And then identify your passion, your mission, your vocation, your profession. And once you do that, you'll get to the point of your purpose. But take the time to do it because you're plugging into other people's sockets so much that we often forget about ourselves. And then we don't even get to a point of arising to our purpose and being alive because we're so focused on pouring into other people and being, being the best version of ourselves for someone else versus ourselves. Mark said, I love managing someone who is passionate. It inspires me so much. I agree wholeheartedly. I'll get paid for it. Someone. Until then, just continue to add value to develop skills until the opportunity comes. So he might have been talking about the real estate. I'm not sure, but
yeah. So he'll get paid for it, but then until whatever opportunity comes for him to maybe go further within his own thing. Yes, because at the end of the day, y'all, we all have to get a paycheck. So you got to do what you got to do to get a paycheck for right now, right? And that's okay, because I think if you know where you want to go, keep focusing on that, keep driving on that, and that will you will eventually can get there. But you still got to have a paycheck today to pay your bills.
To pay your bills. Paycheck.
For real.
Pay your bills, y'all.
To pay your bills, because your bills ain't going nowhere, honey. And that's not anybody's purpose in life. We don't pay no fucking bills.
Right. The purpose, we're not put on this earth to pay bills for the rest of our lives.
Hell no. I don't want to give my money away for the rest of my life. Like, why? Why would y'all want to do that? No, I want to keep that shit.
Yeah, I want to do it.
Absolutely. So you want to talk about sex now?
That is not this episode. We got 3 minutes, and I don't. Well, I mean, you can live your abundant life having sex. I think so. I guess I don't know, but that you see me, I get uncomfortable. I'm like,
yes, you do every time. You're like,
I watching live.
Come on, mate. I'm like, so are we
talking about sex?
Hey, Brendan, what's up? Yes, with the wig. I mean, it's not the haircut, but you know. You know. Sex. Yes. I'm like, finding your purpose in your sex life.
That's important. Or live abundantly in your sex life.
Yeah, you see the numbers are going up, right? On the eyes.
They really are. It's like you have a radar or something that would, as soon as you say the word sex,
it's about sex all the time. I just feel like, okay, so Mark says passion, impact, and sex. Yes.
That's what this episode was about. It wasn't finding your purpose. It was about passion, impact, and sex. If you're just tuning in, we are Nyce Kids.
If you are not busting no nuts at home, you're not gonna find your passion. I'm telling you. You need to figure that shit out. You need to bust
up here.
You gotta bust some nuts at home, because that will help your motivation for you to get up and get out and like do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta do. She from New York, y'all. Anywho, we are Nyce Kids.
I ain't busting.
We appreciate you guys. If you're just jumping on, you missed the episode, so you're
fucked up. You missed the episode. You're late.
Line or the little button on the line back and watch it from the beginning.
We got a lot of sex. Every day should be sex. Every day.
Yes, sex is important. Conversation is more important.
I'm like, so
that
sex helps you find your passion. I'm passionate about sex. I'm mad you got a whole alarm every time your fucking alarm goes off.
Reminder, it's my power hour.
This was last week too, yo. Every time.
It's every day at 6.
Let me tell y'all, Nyce Kickers. She has an alarm every time, and I'm like, damn, I feel rushed and shit. Like, oh, I gotta fucking change my clothes and shit. Like, it's time to change. Nyce Kicks is over because she got the alarm and shit at 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock on the Eastern Standard Time.
Because I'm doing an accountability that my accountability coach Brendan Boyd, who's on the live. So if you guys need some accountability, hit him up.
I need a help.
Accountable.
That's so great. Shout out to Brendan Boyd and his accountability. I'm supposed to be in that shit too, but I'm still trying to find my sex passion.
Okay. Well, while Lisa finds her sex passion, I'm going to get ready for the Outlet LA. So if you're in LA, get up, start getting your outfits together, and head out to Hollywood. Meet you at the
Hollywood.
And if you need accountability coaching, hit up Brendan. He is on an episode of Nyce Kicks that we did a few weeks ago. So Millionaire Mindset. The prices are going up on Monday, so get in touch with him now. Order his manifestation cards.
Yo, nigga got everything.
54 deck of cards. I'll post the link in the description box so you can get them right from the link. I think I can do that. Brendan, don't hold me
I
to
hope
it,
so.
if I can do it.
Yeah, he got
We'll
cards
do
on
that.
cards on deck.
Yes. Nice kicks.
Love y'all. I always love y'all. Me, I love you.
I love you too. And we'll see you guys next Thursday. Same place, same time. We're talking about sex.
Are we?
I don't know.
I feel like we should always talk about sex, but
All
maybe
right.
that's my purpose in life.
For sure.
Love y'all. Bye.